not the leader of a cult. RabbitWithAxe.
Greetings, demons, and welcome to a Horizon discussion video. That seems like nonsense to me because I have barely played Horizon in general, but this is a really interesting story, and I just wanted to talk about it and just kind of discuss my thoughts on it. So this is mostly coming from a Kotaku article, Horizon multiplayer alpha footage leaks, and it kind of looks like Fortnite. That is the headline, and it's really interesting. So we recently saw a bunch of assets, some gameplay and some screenshots pop up across Reddit and Reset Era. Reset Era being, as far as I understand, being some sort of like leak gameplay sharing thing. I'm not familiar with it, but a lot of people have been telling me that that's what it is, so I'm going to assume that they are right. In any case, we've now got full gameplay of a build, an alpha build, of the Horizon multiplayer, which we don't actually know much about that currently. We know it's coming eventually, and it was announced back in December. But at the same time, we don't really know like when it's coming out. We don't really have much of an idea of if it's a standalone game, anything like that. But in any case, we actually have now seen an alpha build with gameplay and screenshots fly around that basically makes it look like a Fortnite clone. And that's really weird to say. And obviously it's an alpha build, so models aren't going to be their final form and stuff like that. But it does look very weird to see, you know, the quintessential aspects of Horizon. You know, the different dinosaur creatures, the robot animals, whatever you want to call them, and the other, like, key aspects of Horizon. But then the player models and some other models across the map are very cartoony, and as a lot of people have pointed out, this is very common for alphas of quote-unquote realistic-looking games. They'll often use way lower res models, way more cartoony models, way less realistic models to run their alphas and their other gameplay tests, just in order to ensure that, you know, models can ruin an experience in terms of the graphical, like, requirements and stuff like that. So when you're testing a game, especially in early development, which this gameplay, as I say, is from 2020, it's very likely that you're going to use older models or less defined models just to make sure that the actual gameplay functions do work. We see a lot of issues with the models. At one point there's a model with no legs, stuff like that. Very basic issues that you would hope would be gone by the time that this actually releases. And it's really interesting just seeing what exactly this multiplayer experience is looking like, or at least looked like, almost 3 years ago now. It's kind of crazy. So this gameplay is thought to be from summer of 2020, and as I say, it was December 2020 that it was announced. So this is actually from before it was even announced to be happening, and it's really weird how a lot of people pick this up and saying, oh, it's going to look like this on release. It's not. And that's my main reason I want to talk about this, just talking about how games that look a certain way in pre-release, even when it's close to release, which this is by no means close to release, it doesn't really mean anything. We've seen a lot of games change drastically between their alpha or even pre-alpha all the way to their actual full release. Fortnite's actually a really good example of this. Their early models look very different from their current model style. Even their Season 1 style is very different from the alpha or pre-alpha style that we saw in original trailers and some very early gameplay videos and stuff like that that were officially released by Epic. There are a lot of differences between what we saw originally and what we ended up getting, and I think that's what people need to realize about games like Horizon that are more realistic, on the more realistic side. They are going to change a lot during development, and the actual art style especially, between pre-alpha, alpha, beta, and eventually full release, is going to change drastically. There's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of tuning, and just generally a lot of things going to change across the time that it's developed for. And I think overall it's very good to see that there was, in summer 2020, you know, months before the announcement, a working version of this game, even if it's not now complete, even if it looks completely different. And at the end of the day, something that I haven't seen many people discussing, but I think is a very valid point, we already have Aloy in Fortnite. We know what she looks like in the Fortnite art style, and she looks almost, not quite, but almost how she does in the Horizon games. The difference between what we're seeing here and what, you know, Fortnite really is people like to say Fortnite's a very cartoony game. It isn't. It hasn't been for a very long time. Even the, default models are very quote-unquote realistic. They're not real, but they're not these weird, cartoony, like, smooth-faced characters that people seem to think they are. And at the end of the day, when we can see what Aloy looks like in Fortnite, I don't think we have to worry about Horizon's multiplayer looking any worse than that. And honestly, Fortnite, especially its Horizon collab, is some of the nicest looking graphics you can really get out of Fortnite. It's up there as one of the best looking collabs, and I think that really shows that Horizon themselves, when they have the original assets, are going to be just fine when it comes to how things look in-game. It's a very interesting thing that places like Kotaku are actually reporting on it as if this is kind of like the end-all be-all. It is really questionable to me that you would go for that, especially when we know for a fact that this is a very old build, and we don't even really know when we're getting Horizon multiplayer. It's going to be a little while, I'm sure, especially when, it's been nearly 3 years, as I say. It's been 2 years and a bit since we've had it announced, and yet we still don't really know anything about it. We don't really know a release date, we don't know anything about standaloneness, or if it's going to be an expansion of Forbidden West, or anything like that. We believe that it's going to be for both PC and PS4 and PS5, which is always great, but other than that, we don't really know. The video itself, according to Kotaku, showed both join PC and join PS4 options, suggesting there could be some cross-platform potential whenever the game comes out, which is always good to know, and, stuff like that is always really nice to see in pre-built versions, alpha versions and stuff like that, having the cross-compatibility and cross-platform abilities already in place is always a great start, and it makes me really excited for this when it eventually launches, especially if it does launch like day and date on both PC and the PlayStation platforms. I'm someone who owns a PS4, not PS5, and I obviously play mostly on PC, so having the ability to be able to play on at the very least one of those, either PC or PS4, preferably PC, would be really nice, especially if it means I can then play with people that I know that play on PS5, which is a growing number. PS5s are becoming more and more available, and at the end of the day, games like this, games like Horizon in general, the Horizon franchise, I'm sure there's going to be a third Horizon coming up on the horizon, haha, dum-ching. It's really nice to know that there's going to be some level of cross-platform play, and overall, I'm not worried at all about this. I didn't probably know. I knew it was happening, but I thought it was going to be part of Forbidden West. I don't own Forbidden West, so I didn't realize this wasn't already out. But it's very exciting to me that we are going to be getting a multiplayer experience that, is going to be crossplay, is going to give people a chance to actually play with their friends regardless of platform, as long as you're not on Xbox, of course, or Switch. But, yeah, it's a very weird conversation to be having over, will Horizon look like Fortnite? It's like, no, it won't. It definitely won't, and the fair reason is just that, basically, it's pre-alpha, or it's alpha. It's very old gameplay, and the chances are it's going to look almost exactly like Horizon Forbidden West, if not slightly better, if not slightly worse. It's very much one of the things, it's going to be in the ballpark of Forbidden West, just because it's Horizon. Horizon considerably upgrades its graphics every time we see a new version of it. Everything from the PS4 release, to the PC release, to Forbidden West release, to Forbidden West release on PC, have all seen massive graphical upgrades each and every time, and it's, it's going to keep going like that, I'm sure. Multiplayer is something that often takes a downgrade, especially in big games like Horizon. We've seen it before with, what is it, the Nathan Drake collection? Was that the one? One of those, the Uncharted games, one of their multiplayers was very much downgraded graphically, but still looked presentable, still looked very good, and I think it was the same case for the original The Last of Us. Its multiplayer was downgraded heavily, but still looked good, and, both of those, Uncharted and The Last of Us, are game series that look phenomenal and are kind of known for looking top-end in terms of their graphical quality. So, at the end of the day, I'm not worried for Horizon's multiplayer. It's going to look great. I'm sure it's going to look better than Fortnite in a lot of ways. And really, that's all I have to say about it. So, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, make sure to like it, subscribe now and and ring that bell so you'd never miss an upload. Otherwise, comment below. What do you think about this? I will link the Kotaku article in the description below if you want to read it yourself. It does have links to the video, though. I believe on Reddit it has been removed by the moderators. which is a bit questionable. I wonder if there was a DMCA request or something like that. But in any case, I've actually backed it up myself. I actually have a copy of the gameplay, and if I can get away with it, I might upload that onto the second channel, so check out that link in the description below as well, just in case I manage to do that. But otherwise, coming up from me, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!
Look at the screen, you'll be fine. Culture's a disease, but worlds divine. I just wanna tell